As part of my Welsh back course that I'm doing at school, you had the chance to sign yourself up for lots of different trips, and I somehow got roped into going down Big Pit. For those of you who probably don't know what Big Pit is, Big Pit used to be an old coal mine. You can just take a look around and have a little look at the Welsh history and stuff behind it and what people would have to do. This would be great if it wasn't for the fact that I'm quite claustrophobic. Lots of people have different phobias. It generally doesn't stretch to being a phobia. Generally it's just you have a slight dislike of something. It's more a slight fear than an actual phobia. I'm hoping that my fear of enclosed spaces and being underground is just a small fear, because my friends have somehow managed to persuade me to go down Big Pit and have put my name down for it. There are loads of different normal phobias that you'll find a lot in everyday life, such as claustrophobia, which is a fear of enclosed spaces. And claustrophobia can also be described as a fear of not having any way of escape, which kind of makes me think that criminals might have that because they might be scared of not having a way to escape. Acrophobia, which is a fear of heights. There's a glossophobia, which is a fear of speaking in public. Arachnophobia, I think some of my sisters have this, my younger sisters, because they are completely terrified of spiders. There's aviophobia, which is a fear of flying, and one of the most interesting ones that I found, which I think actually probably is a common one, Atachiophobia, which is a fear of failure, which I think actually is quite a valid fear. Phobias are often described as irrational fears. Now some of those I think are quite rational. Okay, fear of spiders, maybe not, especially when you live in Wales and we have no poisonous spiders here. However, I have come across some very irrational fears which I have found really interesting to a certain degree, because I like to wonder how they would actually cope in their life. There's androphobia, which is a fear of men, and gynophobia, which is a fear of women, which I find very interesting just because I don't know how you'd avoid that sort of phobia. You can avoid certain things, like you can try and avoid spiders, or you could just not go climb a mountain if you're scared of heights. But to be scared of men and women, that's going to be a problem for you in everyday life. Ablutophobia is a fear of bathing, washing or cleansing. That's not going to be great for your overall odour. This one I find hilarious because I think one of my friends has it. It's decidophobia, and that is a fear of making decisions. So if you're a ditherer, maybe you have decidophobia. There's anthophobia, which is a fear of flowers. How can you be scared of such cute little flowers? They're so pretty. Heliophobia is a fear of sunlight. This is going to be a serious problem because you need vitamin D to survive. You'll get rickets or something, where you get weak bones. You're going to have to go out in sunlight, unless you're a vampire. Then I guess you'd have heliophobia a little bit. Unless you're like a stupid vampire like in Twilight, where they just sparkle in the sunlight, but proper vampires would have heliophobia. Hypnophobia is a fear of sleep, which I also think is going to be problematic for you because you have to sleep at some point. It's essential for your body to survive that you sleep. This was one of the funniest ones, I think. It's nomophobia, which is a fear of being out of mobile phone signal. What the heck? Genuphobia is a fear of knees. I don't really know how it works because I don't have it, but it'd be kind of bad if you're just walking around and then you suddenly look down and you're like, oh no, it's my knees. You'd never be able to wear shorts, would you? Telephone phobia, and it's a fear or reluctance of making or taking telephone calls. I think probably the best way to counter a phobia would probably be to face up to it, which is probably why it's a good thing I'm going down Big Pit, just simply because then I'll be able to dispel that fear, hopefully, and say, yes, now I don't mind being in enclosed spaces or underground. If you have a phobia of something or just a fear of something and it's like an unusual one or a funny one, then write it in the comments below. I'll be interested to hear about anything that you have. So if you have a fear, go face it and make your life better. Have a lovely day! because I'm sure that the ground isn't going to fall on top of me and suffocate me, so die of asphyxiation.